Let's see, the first theme I would give you for 2016 is around earnouts. So earnouts is a tool that people will use in M&A whereby they'll pay some upfront and they'll pay some over time as certain milestones are achieved or as certain sales thresholds and the like have been attained. So that is something that for the 85% of the non-M&A deals that are done in the industry, that's commonplace. The pay some today, pay some tomorrow as certain risks are removed from the system. That now is bled into M&A. So for the 15% of our transactions that fit into the M&A category, now we have over half of those that include earnouts, and I expect that. I mean, it can't go that much higher, mind you, but I would expect it to at least be at comparable levels, if not increase from last year. So that's one theme for 2016. So another theme for 2016, staying with the 85% of the transactions are partnering and alliances. So not only are you going to continue to see partnering with companies like yourself, but you're also now going to see a lot more branching out into partnering with companies unlike you. So companies that are focused on technology, focused on information, focused on other parts of the healthcare ecosystem. These aren't companies that you necessarily can buy, but nonetheless you will want to rent or borrow some of their core assets, and you'll do that through partnering and alliances. So I expect that to be very prevalent in 2016 and beyond. Keep in mind that here we may have different objectives, different goals than what you've seen in the past, so that may be something that influences our deal making. So a third theme for 2016 is this notion of the in-house corporate venture arm, venture fund, and that's something that a couple of life science companies have had for years now. But if you look across all industries, it is a big movement that's taking place right now, as so much is happening in the worlds of technology, for instance. And so what are you seeing? You're seeing companies try to get embedded with the startups and the younger companies in as early of a stage as possible, which means that they're potentially equity investment, some kind of alliance, let me collaborate to make this technology, bring it to market, and maybe even an option to buy them out into the future. So it's creating a lot more early stage interest and investment, and also some complexity around the deal structures, because it may include a couple components like an equity investment, like some kind of collaboration, like an option to buy them out at the end. So that's another theme for 2016. Next, companies are going to be both focused on buying and selling assets. So I think historically, the focus obviously was on the buy side, but now you see with almost any transaction of any size, there's a fair amount of divestiture activity that occurs, whether it's driven by FTC or antitrust reasons, or just not wanting to hold on to assets that they know aren't going to be core to them over the long term. They're just getting rid of them kind of out of the gate. And what I'm seeing is more and more companies focus on trying to be very strong on the sell side as well as the buy side, because there's a lot of value that that you can earn, or on the flip side, that you can lose if you're not a very astute seller on that side of things. Okay, so with the buying and selling of assets, the next and the last theme I'll give you for now is this notion of asset swaps. So this is something that I think is very interesting, and if you look, there have been a couple of very significant large-scale swaps that have occurred over the past 2 years, both where people are changing out, swapping out therapeutic areas, or where people are going into to other areas, or even some joint venturing in the process of the asset swaps themselves. That, to me, really expands our deal currency. So a lot of these life science companies do have a fair amount at their disposal to spend, but at the same time, you can expand that greatly if you take assets that perhaps you're able to exchange for other assets and not have to spend nearly the level of cash in the process. I really like that theme.